Hi everyone, and welcome to the another edition of the Premiership predictions, top football predictions, game week 24, and looking down on you this week with Atul Jani.
Hello there, pundits, and let's get cracking.
Absolutely, mate. Game week 24. Well, I know someone who will want a round of applause, and he thoroughly deserves it this week. It's Gary.
Oh, well done, buddy. Well done, Gary.
245 points without a joker card. That is simply perfection, isn't it, mate?
That's fantastic, and just imagine if he did play the Joker card.
Oh my God!
That's another story for another day. But
well, yeah, he'd be upgrading his train for sure with that one. But
well done, buddy. But
no, brilliant.
Yeah, speaking about Joker card, we might as well mention.
Yeah, go for it, Frank.
Yeah, indeed, Frank played the Joker card, and it worked out pretty well for him. So well done, buddy. 160 points. So. Yeah. You know, that keeps everyone in the shout.
Never a bad score. There was some other 100-point scorers. Alessandro, who's been doing particularly well this season. We'll come on to him in a minute in a little bit more detail. 150 points he scored. Gavin, still plugging away. 120 points. That's good going as well, isn't it, mate?
Charlie as well.
Yeah, Charlie as well. 140 points. And Tom's our resident Liverpool fan, doing well, isn't he, actually, this season?
He's doing well. He's
debutant, but
keen interest in it at the end of the day. You know, there's Mike as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget Mike, and he was one of the people. I think about 3 or 4 people that got the hot shot game spot on, and he got 170 points without a joke card. So that's very good. And
that's a good shout.
Don't forget Pendra, 115 points as well.
He's a veteran. He's probably brushed it off his shoulder, thinking, "I've seen that one many a time."
Of course he is, mate. Yeah. Also, I wanted to mention Liam Mads because 95 and 90 respectively, he almost got the 100.
Yeah, it's just knocking on the door, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think if you get 100, I've always said if you get 100, you're doing well, you know.
Yeah, fantastic, and it's a good week for a lot of people. At the end of the day, he scored close enough to 100 or above 100, or in Gary's case above 200 as well.
Yeah, or so, in yours and my case, not very much at all. But we won't, we'll overlook that for now. But
abysmal run, but there you go. All good things come to an end. But
mate, what does it mean about the league? Because in the current league table, Martin leads the way over you by 15 points. But really, everyone's eyes are always on the end of season, how it looks now, league, and because that's where the cash is. And Alessandro has shot right up to the top, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, this is the thing we've always talked about, haven't we?
Yeah.
Those bonus points, they really do come into play. And
absolutely,
we've said this for not just this season for the newbies, but for the season before and before and before. But it just shows that these points do come to play, and now they've started coming into play, and people are taking more attention to that.
Yeah, with the top 4 spaces, and you've got yourself in third because Martin's got second place. Gary's moved right up to 4th place. It's only 140 points separating the top 4.
That's nothing. 140, it's nothing.
No, absolutely.
Especially with the bonus points, you've still got the bottom 4, the top 3 cup competitions, X, Y, and Z, and before you know it, 100 points is nothing.
Absolutely. Got Mike's moved his way up quite nicely as well. He's up to 14th now. Sparing a thought for Ryan, who, like myself, very close to the bottom. In fact, he is bottom, and I'm just above him. But I just wanted to say don't give up because I've been down there. I had the worst start ever this season, and I'm still plugging away. He's still making his predictions, and he did really well at the start, but it's just tailed off. But what kind of advice can you give to Ryan to really kind of give some resurgence for his predictions?
Listen, I'd say you're making some really good predictions, decent predictions as well. Not to give up, that's the main thing, because I'll give you an example. Last season, as you may recall, Mark, I was bottom of the table.
Yeah.
Subsequently went on to win the competition, so you'll come through a patch or a period where your position or your people above you aren't scoring the points. Before you know, if you start scoring the points, catch up's there, you'll start making the move up the table.
Absolutely.
Plus have a look at your bonus points as well, just to give you an indication as well.
I think Ryan as well, he's making some good predictions, but he's making the good predictions when other people are scoring heavy in the week, and that's the thing. Don't be too down on it, but no, keep working away there, mate. Now, I'm very envious of this next stat because I haven't hit one this season, mate. I think you have, but game week 24, we had about 8 people, I think it was, that got 50 points on the first goal scorer prediction, and I love that. It was probably a little bit more obvious this week because we had a bigger team in there, but it's great to get those points, isn't it? I mean, for instance, Gary, he got the first goal scorer, and on that game he also got the prediction right, so that Man City game has netted in 80 points.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, the thing is that with that first goal scorer, it's actually proving to be quite difficult.
It is.
This week was a rarity, but if you look at it, a lot of people, including myself, don't want to opt for the obvious goal scorer because you've seen the likes of Johnny Evans scoring when everyone's put Rond on.
Yeah.
And a few other cases. So you always tend to think, well, okay, it's sod's law. This is the predictions game, and whenever we put this one down, X will turn out, and so it is tricky. It really is tricky, but well done to everyone who's stuck with the obvious and got points.
Absolutely,
so there you go.
Predictions Cup, mate. We had some nice battles, and there was a couple of players. I think it was Mike and Gary. They scored very well in the league format, and in the cup game they beat their opponents by more than 100 points, and for that they both got an extra 50 bonus points. The only player ever to do that this season, I think, earlier on in the season, I think was Ricardo. But that's great, isn't it? It's extra bonus points. It's propelling them to the top. I mean, in actual fact, just looking at the leagues, I was compiling them yesterday, as you know, the cup leagues. I think Alessandro, it's all about Alessandro. Alessandro now top of the predictions, but in the cup group, again, he's flying as well.
Yeah. But as we all know, cup competition, does for a short period run hand in hand with the predictions in that sense, but then it will start moving away from its own self. And
there's 3 cup games to go. Everything can change. That's 9 points maximum that you can achieve from the next. I mean, it's big, isn't it, mate?
It's phenomenal, and as Gary can vouch for it, at the end of the day, form doesn't really mean anything. He was going into wobbly
cup champion,
and he's cup champion, and he'll keep his eye on trying to retain that cup as well. So
yeah, he's competitive anyhow.
It's fantastic though. It's brilliant. I mean, hats off to all of you pundits out there. You're wading in with your views, opinions, WhatsApp messages, etc., etc. So it's really good. Well done, and keep it up, and it keeps us on our toes as well.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I obviously make a couple of mistakes on purpose on the spreadsheet just so that you guys can keep it going. But no, the cup as well. There's cash for the cup, £20,
and bonus points as well.
Bonus points as well. So that it really is all to play for, isn't it? But it's looking tasty as we come into the not quite in the business end yet, but it's certainly things are getting exciting, aren't they?
Yeah, indeed. So keep it
now. Atul, I don't know if you know, mate. We've got a bit of bad news on the predictions. We've got another bloody break, and it's not an international break. Don't worry, don't panic. But we don't play our next predictions game till the end of the month because weekend coming up, we've got the old FA Cup come round.
Hey.
So we'll have a look at that. Keep our eyes peeled in the social media, what's going on in the football world. But when it comes to the next game week, which is game week 25, right at the end of the month, which is I think it's on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, it's spread over 30th, 31st.
Okay, interesting.
What ties have you got your eyes on? We've obviously got the obvious ones. We've got Everton, Leicester, and I say it's obvious because that is the first goal scorer game, mate. We've also got a hot shot, as always. But this one's quite tasty. It's Newcastle, Burnley. I mean, what goes on there? I'm about to ask you. And also in game week 25, we've got a big game. It's a Super 6 game. And it's Spurs at home at Wembley versus Man United. Could be Sanchez's first game for Man United. There's loads of things happening. So take us through those key games, mate, for the next game week when it comes round.
Yeah, Everton, Leicester City. That's going to be an interesting one. Quite a few goal scorers you can name there.
Yeah.
Difficult to call. See what sort of Leicester turn up and Everton turn up. Both are quite up there in the mid-table.
Yeah, it might not just be the obvious Rooney or Vardy. There might be some other people chipping in. So I think there's a fair few players to select from on that one.
Yeah, there is, and it's going to be a tricky prediction. So whoever gets that one right, hats off to them.
Definitely.
Newcastle, Burnley. That's an interesting one. Newcastle at St James's Park. Burnley's form has dipped, but Sean Dyche has signed a contract which sees him until 2022. So there's security and stability there, so which he can harp on and get on with it.
Was part of his new contract eating worms and stuff? Is that part of the deal? I'm not sure about that. But Newcastle in the last 24 hours just signed Kennedy, Brazilian on loan, and I'm sure well, look at it.
Burnley have got what's his name? The former Evertonian / Spurs.
The guy we can't think of right now, but you know who it is, guys.
Yeah,
so that's an obvious one.
To you.
But yeah, it's going to be when this game week rolls around at all. It's going to be like the 24 hours, 48 hours away from the end of the final transfer window, so it's going to be quite exciting. But Newcastle at home, they really need to be pulling something out, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They really do. I mean, the danger is they can slip in and they can get cut away from the rest of the pack, and you want to stay in touch, because do you know what? I think as much as the top half of the table is done and dusted, let's be honest, I think the bottom half is really, really shaping up to be tasty indeed.
Yeah.
And you can see quite a lot of the established teams, i.e. the likes of Swansea, Crystal Palace and all those guys, really coming up against like Huddersfield and all them.
Yeah, apart from last season, the bottom is almost more exciting than the top, isn't it? Because it generally always goes down to the last 1 or 2 games of the season.
And I always mock Mark, and I always tell him about, there's always a little kid and there's always an adult with a radio in his ear, and then there's you shoot to the little kid crying.
It's the best match of the day of the season, isn't it?
Relegated,
There's always some kid crying. You're like, yeah, you bugger.
and then you always hear the commentators say, "And there's been a goal. Let's go to the other stadium." And that's excitement. But we've got a few weeks away.
Oh yeah, we're not there yet.
Fast forwarding onto Spurs Man U.
Spurs Man U. That is a blockbuster.
It is a blockbuster. It's a good game.
Harry Kane. I mean, gee whiz, he cannot stop scoring.
Yeah, no, it depends on what 2 teams turn up. Both of them on their day can beat each other on their ground. That's a difficult one to call. I don't really.
Will Sanchez score against Spurs? Who knows what's going to happen there?
Exactly. Another tasty one for me, being a South Coast supporter, is the South Coast derby between Southampton and Brighton.
Oh yeah.
Both aren't in immaculate form. Both languishing near the bottom. Both will be scrapping, and it's a local rivalry. It's a difficult one to call, but I quite like it, being a South Coast supporter myself.
Mate, I'm more worried about Arsenal. We don't keep clean sheets, and we're going up against Swansea, who have just beaten Liverpool. What is that all about? And that right there, like we said on the WhatsApp group the other night, that is why we love the predictions. Liverpool played unbelievable in that game where they beat Man City, who was unbeaten, and then no one could touch them. And then the very next week, they lose to Swansea.
That's beautiful.
I mean, what I'm hearing is that all the Swans can do is hold up train lines, because that's all they do. But no, they can win football games as well now. But no, in general, we're seeing some really good performances. Lee needs to keep going. I'm just having a look at league table. Danny Bullock, he's still doing his stuff, isn't he? He's still kind of joint 6 at the moment, and he knows it. He knows a thing or two about football, but he's still up there. He hasn't done much, made many waves, but he's doing stuff.
If you're 300, 400, 500 points adrift, be on table 1 or table 2, which is a dash for the cash table, doesn't really make too much difference. You start accumulating those bonus points. There's a lot of bonus points still to be played for, and that can make a huge impact on your score.
Akram's having a better season this season. Pendra's been a bit kind of up and down, but he's getting there. Lee needs to pick himself up, because Lee was right up there at the early stages, wasn't he? But
I mean, he's faltered, but again, you just need that surge of momentum and
absolutely,
back
mate.
up the table. So
no, it's an interesting table at the moment, but we've got a little way to go, as we say. We've got FA Cup weekend coming up, but then really start looking at your predictions, and obviously some of those, as I was saying, transfers might impact your decisions of how you're going to go with them. But like AJ said, start having a look at where you can get the bonus points and the hot shot games, because they really do. Well, they make the difference. They're game changers, aren't they, mate?
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of people who've got them this week, the goal scorer bonus points, can vouch for that. And
absolutely.
May it continue for everyone.
Final word, mate, before we leave our viewers.
Basically, just get your points in, get the points on the board, and
get your predictions in on time.
And you've got to be in it to win it.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.